Tubers, this is Dave over here at Model Talk for Life. This is a channel going to be dedicated towards modeling in the modeling community, primarily revolving around Star Trek. Star Trek models is my passion. Star Trek is my passion pretty much from the Next Generation era forward. Never really got into the original series. However, the reboot from 2009 puts a nice little, nice new flair to the original series, which I can appreciate now. Anyway, modeling. I decided to start a channel regarding modeling just because I'm a fairly new modeler myself over the past 2.5 years or so. Being that my interest has been in Star Trek, I figured to take it to the next step and say, well, why not start building models? Sounded something practical to do, and I really do enjoy it. This is, over the past 2.5 years, is the first time I've ever built models. I actually finished a model from beginning to end, and you know, I'm actually pretty happy with the progress of where I'm at right now with it. So I thought I would start a channel showcasing the models that I have built. I've built 3 so far, and maybe in my next video I will get into those models. And also today I'll show a couple of the models that I'm currently in the process of building. So I think it would be nice just to start some videos to get, you know, feedback, or you know, at least get this out there for other modelers to see and make comments on. And I think you can never have enough modeling channels, and there's quite a few out there, and they're all, for the most part, they're all very good. So why not add to that list? Alright, so anyway, without saying much more, let me get into the model that I'm currently building, which is the Polar Lights 1/1000th scale Enterprise refit by Polar Lights Round 2. This is the one that I'm working on right now. This kit here is a snap together kit. This is actually wrong way. This is the first snap together kit that I've built so far. And I will say one thing about this kit is, being that it's a snap together kit, I still have a tendency to still add glue, just because of the seams. But even though for a snap together kit, the seams are very minimal even without glue, because there are certain sections that I decided not to glue, and the seams are very, very minimal. The fitting is very snug. So, and maybe that's inherent with all snap together kits, but this one I thought they did a very good job with the build on it. As far as where I'm at with the kit, not very far. I've built the whole body, you know, the whole upper and lower hull, the neck and the pylons, and this is fully painted as well. The final coat of color here is pearl white. So not much to show at this point with this kit, other than I've gotten this far. And actually, I take that back. The other thing that I have worked on, and let me just grab it here quick. I'm also in the process of painting the saucer section for this. Right now I just have the primer on, and I still got to add a base coat of matte white and then the pearl white to the saucer. And this is looking good so far. I don't typically like building really tiny models. However, that's starting to change, just because if you want to build a whole variety of Star Trek kits, majority of them are smaller. And I don't mean just styrene, but if you start looking at resin kits as well, there's quite a few resin kits for Star Trek, but they're tiny. However, that's where I'm at right now with the Enterprise 1/1000th scale. Another thing that I will say about that kit that I really like is it comes with a full set of Aztec decals. Both that one and the 1 3/50th scale Enterprise by Round 2 Polar Lights, they both included the Aztecing decals, which the 1 3/50th scale I already built. That'll be one of them that I'll be showing probably in my next video. But what's nice is that for this small of a model, the 1 in 1,000 scale, they have full sets of Aztec decals and marking decals. And from what I can see and from what I've watched on other videos from other people putting them on, they look great. They look outstanding. Takes all the work away from masking your own Aztecs on, and saves a lot of work, and it looks pretty good for being decals. So thumbs up to that model. It looks like it's going to come out pretty good when it's finished. The other model that I'm working on at the moment, and I don't typically work on two models at once. I usually am a person that likes to focus on one thing and then finish it and then move on to the other. I don't know how somehow I got mixed up into two different models, and that's kind of where I'm at right now. The next model is by atempt. This is also a Round 2 reissue of the Enterprise B. This is an Excelsior class model. Again, this is a reissue, so they did have, atempt did have a Enterprise B model back in the 90s, I think early to mid 90s, and they changed it. They retooled a few things on the lower saucer section of this model, and so there's been a few enhancements, and from what I can see, it looks, as far as detail go, it looks pretty good. There is one downside with this particular model, and there's a lot of fitting issues with this one. And from what I'm hearing, atempt is notorious for that, so who knows, we'll see how it goes as I move along. Right now, as far as this kit, I'm not very far. I got the lower hull section glued together, and what was really tricky about this, and still is when you glue these two halves together, you'll notice that on the model itself there's a lot of grid lines, part of the detail. There's a lot of panel lines and grid lines that are etched into the plastic, and they're very fine, so they're not really raised. I mean, they're raised, but they're very, very thin. So what happens is that when you glue this together, you have the seam right here that runs along right here. What was really tricky to do was to sand out the seam without wrecking the grid lines or the panel lines, whatever they're called, without wiping them right off. So it was a little bit tricky. I think I got it down pretty good where you really won't see the seam. There's some sections where it's just inevitable and I can't do anything about the seam. But it'll look pretty good once it gets primered and painted. I'm also glued together the upper and lower sections of the saucer. Again, like I was saying, there's a lot of fitting issues with this, and what I mean by that is that when I glued these two halves together, there was a really noticeable gap. I mean, we're talking 1/8 of an inch, around there. 1/8? Does that sound right? Or maybe 1/16 of an inch. Oh God, I don't know. Anyway, there was a gap, and it was pretty large, and it ran pretty much around the whole section right here of the saucer underneath. So if you haven't built this, or if you're familiar with this, you're gonna have to have your putty handy because there's a lot of putty work involved. And as you can see here, I'll just kind of rotate it. You can see all the ooh boy, come on, focus. You can see all of the putty work that was involved. And if you look right here in the center, this section right here was a separate piece that glued, if you look here, that this was glued onto here, and there was a big gap right around the edges there, as you can see. I don't know how well my camera is going to pick that up, but so there was a little bit more work involved than I thought. And if that's just the beginning, I can only imagine how much puttying I'm going to be doing on this model. But that's where I'm at so far. Not very far with this one, but I think I'll be very happy with this one once it's finished. Again, that's the Enterprise B. Another thing that I did buy for this model, and I would like to give a few shout outs over this video, but the one thing that I did buy is aftermarket decals for this kit, and there's a company called A Creation Models. They primarily their focus is doing Aztecing decals for Star Trek ships. I think there was one for Battlestar Galactica, something like that, but their Aztecing decals for the various starships for Star Trek, outstanding. I bought the Aztecing decals for my Enterprise E that I built, and being that I'm fairly new to modeling, there was a few things there was some trial and error. I did make a few big mistakes that I ended up having to get new decals shipped out to me, because if you haven't worked with aftermarket decals, it's a learning experience, because it's not like the silk screen screen print decals that you get with like your kit itself. It's a lot different when the decals were made from a laser printer. So one thing that I did not realize with aftermarket decals is you definitely need to apply like Tester's decal bonder. I learned that after I screwed up, but definitely with these decals you gotta like at least spray 2 to 3 coats of decal bonder on them, let it dry, and it definitely adds to the hardening of the decal when you go to dip it in water. Yeah, that stuff is essential, because if you don't use any type of decal bonder, I mean, you've only got like seconds after you dip it in water to try to apply it without either tearing it or it folding or wrinkling. It's a nightmare. So yeah, definitely use some type of decal bonder before using these. Here are the decals that I had bought for the Enterprise B. Again, these are from A Creation Models, and as you can see, well, here, let me do this. You can also go to their website at acreationmodels.com, and you can see like a thumbnail of all the different ships. Just one single page of like the decals that is for it. And I'm going to tell you, the amount of detail that goes into these is just awesome. Awesome to the point where it's like scary, because there's no, like the blue here, oops, wrong way. The blue here, that's all one big piece. So man, you got to be careful when you're applying those, because you only get one shot at it, short of cutting it in sections, which with the blue I've learned in the past that you really don't want to cut blue like that, because if you don't reattach it when you go to lay it down, and if you got a seam there, it looks ugly. So that's one thing. If you have any comments as far as how in the world do you lay a decal that size down, and if you look at my hand here, just to give you like an idea of how big it is, it's almost like the size of my palm, but how you do this section here without having to do it in sections, please post a comment below and let me know how that's done, because any help would be appreciated on that. So here, that was just a little glimpse of the there's like 4 or 5 sheets in here of decals, but hands down to A Creation Models for their work. I would definitely buy their models again, or their decals again. So that's where I'm at as far as my models go. Not much really to talk about with that. again, this is my first video, and I just want to get it out there, and just to get a start and jump on the modeling bandwagon, as they say. That's pretty much it as far as kits go. There is one other thing that I really haven't talked about yet, and that's another, I don't want to say hobby, but another type of model that I'm actually waiting for it to come in the mail. And my focus, again, is going to be Star Trek, but there is another modeling kit out there that I haven't really seen a whole lot of exposure on, and there's a lot of different kits by this manufacturer out there, and it's called Match-A-Texture. Match-A-Texture is matchstick architecture. So pretty much it's like they got a ton of different kits. They've got anything from planes to the Eiffel Tower to the Empire State Building to the Taj Mahal. I mean, there's a ton of different kits, and they give you all the blueprints, and I think each kit gives you like a cutting tool to cut the matchsticks, and then they give you the schematics that you actually, I think you put the matchstick on the drawings. Excuse me, the drawings, and you actually build it right on, or you use the drawings as your template. And I don't know, for some reason that type of work looks absolutely fascinating to me and looks cool. So there is a possibility that in future videos I'm going to be doing like not instructional videos, but like work in progress or on the bench type videos for Match-A-Texture kits. And I thought that would be kind of interesting, just because I've done quite a bit of searching on YouTube, and there's very few really that showcase Match-A-Texture kits. I think I've only came across like one or two, and they're just amazing. For some reason I'm really drawn to tedious, small, tedious type work that actually takes a while to build. I guess my philosophy is if you get a model and it takes a long time with minimal cost, I mean, then it's worth what you pay for. So I might get into that maybe in the next second or third video, because I do have one Match-A-Texture kit on the way here, and I can give kind of like a out of the box review or box review on that kit when it shows up. So that's where I'm at so far. The only last thing that I'd want to touch on is a couple channels that I've watched pretty faithfully. And don't get me wrong, I mean, there's a lot of modeling channels out there. All of them I think are great. I think every modeling channel brings to the table some type of something that is useful, whether it's in your personal building of models that you do, or if it's just whether it's entertainment or just for whatever reason. I think every modeling channel brings something to the table that is useful, and believe me, there are, out of all the channels that I've watched, every single one of them, there's some really gifted modelers out there. There's a lot of skillful and very good work. So in that sense, there's a couple channels that I've watched that I just want to say that personally has inspired me to say, hey, maybe I should try my own YouTube channel. One of them is Papa Smurf over at the Kit Factory. He's currently doing that Enterprise E prop reproduction for a customer, and wow, that thing is amazing. Big kit and beautiful. It's beautiful work. So Papa Smurf, if you're watching this, excellent job. I think you're doing a great job on it. The other videos that I'm watching are from Dave over at SMS #1. That guy is funny. I'm not big into comedy really, but for some reason that guy really cracks me up, and not in a bad way. I think the guy is talented in many different ways, but he's funny. I don't know really where you live or where he lives, but I want to say he's like Irish or Scottish, somewhere like that. I don't know. Sorry if I got that wrong, but anyway, Dave's a hoot. He's a funny guy. I like his videos. Can't stop watching them. And that's about it as far as any shout-outs. And that's pretty much it as far as my videos for now, or my video for now. We'll keep in touch here shortly, and I will be showing the few models that I built in my next video. If you're still watching this and haven't fallen asleep, thank you. I appreciate you watching this video, and I appreciate any comments below, whether it's constructive criticism or anything positive to say about anything. I appreciate all comments. Thanks a lot for watching, and have a good night. See ya.
I mean, look at that.